Hello everyone and welcome to Game 3 in this best of 3 Undead Mirror matchup. A shout out to all you Undead players out there who have been looking for some Undead replays. Hopefully this does not disappoint, as I can guarantee you an Undead will win this best of 3 series. Graveyard and Crypt opening coming in from Xiao. Meanwhile, we have a lone opening up with the Crypt. Only a Crypt, and now there's the Graveyard. It will be a little bit more delayed. We'll see if it really affects anything. I don't believe it should. Acolytes are like probes. They summon a building and then they can go along their merry way. We'll see what will happen next. It looks like it will be a Crypt Fiend battle. Altar of Darkness established for Alone and now also established for Xiao as well. Need to stop saying that. Darn it. And we'll see what's going to happen next. I thank Honey for making me realize I say that word way too much. Shout out to my biggest critic, more than Okamasphere and Gimli. Yes, my wife tells me how I need to improve in casting. Now, Graveyard and Ghouls being trained definitely need to get more lumber in the rest of the matchup. We'll see what the strategies will be, but it looks as though both players really opening up with a similar strategy, and it was coming down a bit to luck in terms of items. If you saw in Game 2, Alone was able to pick up a full potion of invulnerability, which really helped him out later in the game. A full 15-second invulnerability, and then transferring a potion of lesser invulnerability or keeping it on the Lich. And both heroes were able to survive for quite a while. And it ended up that Xiao was forced to attack and then try to pull back inside his base a bit later. And based upon the timing and based upon the positioning, was unable to do so. And that really hurt him, as he wasn't able to heal up his army. Both sides enjoy fighting on Blight, so there is really no home field advantage unless you consider when reinforcements come in. But in the same way, because both players don't want to go into upkeep, the home field advantage isn't nearly as important. It's like fighting against Zerg versus Zerg, where you want the speed boost, but it's a little bit different in that Undead actually get a regeneration boost, so it helps in multiple ways. And if you can actually force your opponent to fight off of Blight while you're on Blight as Undead, that makes it even better, as your units will be able to regenerate a bit more hit points. Taking a look at the strategy so far, it will be a long-distance Death Coil, Fell Guard, taking a bit of that damage first. Void Walkers, this is a 2-2-3-3 creep camp. I don't believe this will give level 2. It should be just shy, just like a 5-3-3. The Ring of Protection has been left behind. It should be picked up. I believe it's 75 gold. Still not too shabby. 7.5 seconds of mining. Taking a look at the strategies so far, Voidwalker will fall. That should be, significantly shy of level 2. As we moving on, we still have more players, or Xiao just continue to just try to creep out and take out a level 6 spider. That level 6 spider trying to go after these Crypt Fiends, and that's a really nice play because it minimizes the amount of damage that that one spider is actually dealing, since it's trying to get within melee range of the Crypt Fiends, and it's just walking around when it could be still attacking. So that's a huge advantage. Overlord, along with some Blood Fiends now coming in. Death Knight sitting at level 2 does have Unholy Aura finally. It's gonna just take down this Overlord very, very quickly, and able to do so, getting a Pendant of Energy, so even more mana for that Death Knight. And that will come into play as long as Alone can continue to let that mana naturally regenerate. In the next couple of battles, he will have a significant advantage in the number of Death Coils to keep his units alive. So far, Xiao sitting at level 2, almost level 3. Meanwhile, taking a look at Alone. Alone looked like he sold the Pendant of Energy. Did he sell it? No, he did not sell the Pendant of Energy. Keeping that. And now trying to take down Draenei Watchers. So Draenei, yes, this is the WarCraft universe. Draenei Watcher taking a bit of damage, and we'll see what's going to happen here. Level 1 creep camp getting this taken out. This may give level 3. I think it's going to actually be a little bit shy, perhaps. Or does he actually give 14 experience? Nope, actually just enough 3 experience over. Skeletal Minion doing a run by, quickly falling to some Crypt Fiends. Death Knight at level 3. Meanwhile, Death Knight level 3 as well. 380 mana versus Xiao's 285. That is going to be 1 more Death Coil, perhaps 2, which translates to 800 hit points. A very, very big difference. Essentially 2 Crypt Fiends worth of life at this point. Crypt Fiends looking to perhaps, or the army looking to perhaps intercept some units, but no more units caught in transit here, as 1 Crypt Fiend of Xiao now making its way back to the base. Skeletal Minions trying to chase after some Acolytes. We are at Halls of the Dead with a nice cold tower here. Nerubian Tower being upgraded. The Nerubian Tower already lost 100 hit points, but the Crypt Fiends don't really deal that much damage. Both sides battling out here. We should see a Death Coil. There's the Death Coil saving a low hit point unit. There's a... Nope. Where's the Death Coil? There needs to be a Death Coil. No Death Coil. So it is already 1 Crypt Fiend down as the Skeletal Minions causing a lot of problems for those Acolytes. A Death Coil does save a low hit point unit. It is 370 mana versus 163, or 300 versus 170 now. And both sides really microing the war. The Pendant of Energy may be the deciding factor in this game, as Xiao is not going to be able to prolong or defend nearly as long in this battle. One Skeletal Minion quickly falling. And now a surround on Xiao. Xiao in trouble. The Death Coil should come in from that Death Knight. Yes, it was a little bit premature, a little bit of overhealing, but he doesn't care, as the Crypt Fiend still taking a lot of damage. There's another Death Coil. The Death Knight down to 197. Are we going to get another enough? There's the Frost Nova, and the unit does fall here. So Alone really losing his advantage, as the Death Knight has a full potion of lesser invulnerability. That is going to hurt. And he took a lot of damage, losing a Crypt Fiend there, as you got to remember, heroes take reduced damage from piercing significantly. Xiao now running away with that 1 Skeletal Minion, and because of that Lich, the Lich was really the deciding factor in that battle. Xiao came out ahead. Level 3 on the Death Knight, almost or halfway to level 4 about. Same thing off over here, but the Death Knight needs to get a bit more mana. His advantage is right now that he has more hit points, as there was a very strong long surround on Xiao. Lich making its way across the field. We'll see what will be happening next. As soon as that Death Knight gets to level 4, Death Pack could be researched, or not researched, trained. And after it is trained, the Death Knight will be difficult to take down, as it can essentially sacrifice a Crypt Fiend for hit points, making the Death Knight perhaps one of the most powerful or most difficult to kill heroes next to the Paladin. Slaughterhouse going to take a lot of damage here. Death Knight is in the very front position, taking a round of attacks from the Crypt Fiends. Both sides playing a game of chicken with those Crypt Fiends. Who's going to over-engage? Who's going to over-invest? The Slaughterhouse has been reset. Xiao's going to have to rebuild it, as the Ghouls going after Skeletal Minions once more. The Death Knight unable to get back there. Still continuing this push. A nice Frost Nova, but followed up with the Death Coil to heal again. As once again, Alone trying to save his units. And we have Xiao backing off again. So XiaoKai pulling away. Death Knight does have enough mana for 1 more Death Coil. Same thing for Xiao. Alone and Xiao both at 1 Death Coil each. But somehow Xiao able to keep his Death Knight alive. Orb of Corruption has been picked up and now transferred to the Lich. The Lich with a Pure Up of Vitality, a very nice item, making it difficult to take out. So Pure Up of Vitality versus a Pendant of Energy. Who will come out ahead? I believe they are the same rank in items as right now. Death Knight making its way over again. Death Knight going after a low hit point Crypt Fiend. The Crypt Fiend taking a lot more damage because of that Orb of Corruption. Focusing down, dealing more damage to a Crypt Fiend again. The Crypt Fiend able to survive as the Scroll of Town portal does go off. Slaughterhouse attempting to build an obsidian statue, but currently supply blocked at 39/40. Nothing really going to go on there. Very, very sorry for the critters on this map, and we'll see whether or not we have, whether or not we have any serious creeping out of on the other sides of these demonic gates. Crypt Fiends going after all of these Fel Guards here. Fel Guards will fall. Death Knight still making its way off to the north. Right now, we also have the Death Knight making its way in, or making its way over as the game still pretty much no one has any advantage yet, and this may turn into a very, very long macro game. Barrel of explosives, perhaps to try to take down some of these rogue wizards. We'll see what's going to happen here as a Draenei Slayer was taken down. Sentry wards have been left behind, and we may have perhaps some very high-level heroes and simply waiting for the Dark Ranger, as there is a tavern in the center. That seems to be the standard play that both of these players are attempting. Yeah, both of these players are attempting at this stage. Death Knight, Dark Ranger has been picked up for Xiao already. Meanwhile, it looks as though the Dark Ranger has been picked up for Alone. Skeletal Minions doing another run into the Acolytes as one more time. No, going after the Black Citadel, not a very smart move at all. Crypt Fiends now making their rounds again. We'll see what's going to happen here in just a moment, as another round of creeps may be taken out, and both sides just creeping at this point. Another Pendant of Energy being left behind, so up to 600 mana on that Death Knight already. It looks as though the Pendant of Mana is now transferred to the Lich, and this may just be a temporary hold. The reason behind this is the Obsidian statues will naturally give the Death Knight a lot more mana. The Death Knight actually needs to stay behind and get and receive some of that mana, and the longer it regenerates that mana, that is a static amount, and then the Lich can transfer it back over. We'll see what will be happening next, as the Death Knight sitting at 140 mana, now finally getting some more. The Obsidian statue needs to keep track and continue to give more mana to that Death Knight. Already up to 175. If it gets up to 300, it can then jump up to 600 mana very easily. No, it has actually split the mana between the Lich. And wow, 3 Pendant of Energies. So 3 Pendant of Energies, a lot of mana, and that may have been the lucky break needed. Taking a look at the Lich has a pair up of Vitality, Claws of Attack, double Claws of Attack, plus an Orb of Corruption is dealing plus 19 damage. That is very high damage, as the Acolyte, one Acolyte does get taken out. I see 3 Acolytes, perhaps a 5th one will be retrained. Watcher Ward has been placed down off over here. A low hit point Obsidian statue destroyed, level 3 on that Death Knight still. We'll see if any Pendant of Energies will be transferred back to that Death Knight, as that Death Knight, if it does get up to that 300 mana, will instantly almost have 600 mana, as we now see the creeping beyond the gate. This is going to be a large amount of mana. The Death Knight now down to 200 or at 255 mana. We'll see if there's going to be that transfer, or if it's going to stay on the Lich, but the Lich most likely has Dark Ritual, and we'll see what's going to happen here. Death Knight now going to engage both sides, battling it out. The Lich has a lot, and now both sides getting in webbed, and there's a Roar coming in, a Death Coil coming in as well. Who's going to come out in top? And now level 3 on the Lich. The Lich may be able to get off a Frost Nova. There's the Frost Nova. Scroll of Town Portal may be needed. Yes, down to 14 hit points, and now all of these units going to be forced to pull back. This will be a perfect opportunity for Alone to creep out all of these creeps over here and perhaps get a hero advantage. Death Knight looking to perhaps buy a Scroll of Town Portal as well to make sure the same thing doesn't happen to him. As now we're going to see level 3 Lich and a level 2 Dark Ranger go after these creep camps. So some very, very high level creeps. Greater Voidwalker going to get Voidwalker going to get taken out. Claws of Attack +9 now. And Alone may just be able to come out ahead just because of the items. Alone really been able to creep much more heavily at creeping and taking down more units, I believe. How do you get off over here? You got to go all the way around north and then back south. So very, very deep. A level 9, and now we have a Boots of Quel'Thalas +6 agility. It helps you attack a little bit faster, but is the Dark Ranger an agility hero? No, yeah, it is an agility hero, so it could be transferred to the Dark Ranger for +6 attack and additional armor as well. In addition, Thunder Lizard over here, gonna get some damage off onto the Dark Ranger. Death Knight at level 3, Lich at level 3. Taking a look at the Death Knight off over here. Death Knight level 4, level 3, and level 2. Oh, what items was transferred there? Not quite sure. Oh, Boots of Quel'Thalas given to the Lich, interestingly enough, for perhaps more armor. And perhaps a faster attack rate, as the agility does help with the attack rate, trying to get more Orb of Corruption and that additional +14 damage. But if you really wanted to, you could easily give it to the Dark Ranger. The Dark Ranger would get so much additional damage with the Claws of Attack and the Boots of Quel'Thalas and that Black Arrow ability as well. Black Citadel now tanking dealing a fair bit of damage. I don't see a Scroll of Town portal. There we go. There now in comes some more units. Death Knight going to make a very, very prompt exit, as we do see the speed scroll has been completed. Off over here, I do not think the creep camp was completely destroyed, but let's take a look at Xiao and what he's been doing, selling a quick wand of mana stealing, and now also picking up a Thunder Lizard and gonna try to finish it off. What, this is still +19 damage. Circuit of Nobility definitely helping out. And both sides now running all the way back, going to finish off the Shadow Dancer. There's a Drake Egg and a Rune of Restoration. So the Thunder Lizard and the Drake Egg will be able, will call in. The Drake Egg is on a timer though, and we'll see whether or not that will be utilized. Taking a look over here, Glyph of Fortification. I'm not quite sure what a Glyph of Fortification does. Anyone who wants to educate me on what a Glyph of Fortification does, please let me know. I think that's the first time I've ever seen that item ever dropped here. Taking a look at what's going on so far, barrels of explosives, and there are waypoints off to the top. Interesting. So you can actually teleport from the top to the bottom as in addition, and that actually makes the map a lot smaller. So this is a really strange map, I must say. Both sides now continuing the fight. A Stormworm. Scourge Bone Chimes now was picked up. Red Drake Egg, Ring of Regeneration. Both, and what is this? A Rune of Greater Resurrection. Resurrect your dead to fight again. Not quite sure if there are any dead, as both sides are now going to fight here. One Crypt Fiend now already down for Xiao. There's a silence, and I think there was a Death Coil there, keeping track of both sides. The Thunder Lizard, and now a Red Drake is in the air. There is a Thunderclap, essentially, as that unit was taken down. Slow being cast, and now Alone being forced to pull back, as Alone allowed Xiao to really creep out way too much. The Red Drake still in the air. We'll see what's going to happen here, as the Red Drake is on a timer. Sentry Ward off over here. Units once again still making more of a move, utilizing that high ground, perhaps going to teleport off to the south side. Is that what they're going to do? Oh, where do they go? No? A player's forces are under attack. Oh, they all teleport here. That is a weird teleportation. So teleporting from here actually teleports you to here. So that is really, really weird. And we'll see what's going to happen next. Both sides still have not established expansions yet. And both sides sitting on their bases. So yeah, that waypoint or that waygate not really teleporting where I thought it would at all. Death Knight now making its way down. It will teleport into this location, And if it does teleport into this location, it's going to have to clear out this creep camp very, very quickly. There we go. Teleporting into here. Not quite... I think these people are just trying to figure out the map themselves, as they don't know all too much. These units need to shift click, head down here, and then make their way off to the north. All these guys are currently sleeping since it is nighttime. Lucky, and we'll see what's going to happen. Also, more and more things that creep. We may get to level 6 on these heroes, as this game is going very long. And once more, the Crypt Fiends not getting the memo that they need to go through that waygate. Bone Worm is now out. Greater Voidwalker quickly destroyed. It does have, or I think the Greater Voidwalker had heavy armor, allowing the Frostworm to deal much more damage. 3-2 upgrades, and oh, a Red Drake will quickly fall, giving more experience to Alone. And now, are we gonna? Yes, finally, the teleporting working as it should, as this red creep camp will finally be destroyed. So not quite sure where all of this teleporting happens, but oh, he's going to use the teleport to actually get Banshees, now get Anti-Magic Shell, and a teleport onto his opponent. This is going to be interesting, as the Infernal may fall. How much time is going to be allotted? The Infernal down to 500, 400 hit points. The units are now coming in right behind him, trapping his opponent, level 5, and now we see some Fell Beasts, and here comes an engagement to the Anti-Magic Shell across the entire Crypt Fiend army, and this is going to be a problem. Destroyer can try to devour magic. Isn't going to be able to do that. It is dealing a bit more damage, but unable to really get through that anti-magic shell, and now it looks like Alone going to be in trouble. Anti-magic shell definitely causing problems. What is going on in this battle? Dark Ranger with a lesser invulnerability potion. There is a Scroll of Town portal finally being used, and oh, the Dark Ranger lucking out, able to escape. Level 4 on the Death Knight. Meanwhile, still a Fell Beast or Fell Stalker, and now Wand of Mana Stealing quickly sold. Who is coming out ahead in this battle? This is still all so strange. 22 minutes into this game, still no one clearly ahead as of yet. We can see that there is the summoning on a gold mine here, so Alone taking the opportunity to try and expand, and that will definitely help out. We'll see what's going to happen next. Fellstalker still running around with the rest of this group. Taking a look at this group, Death Knight sitting at level 5, Obsidian Statue still doing a bit of healing, level 4 on the Lich, level 4 on the Dark Ranger, level 4 on the Death Knight, level 4 on the Lich, level 4 on the Dark Ranger, so levels are very, very close. Speed Rune now being used, and able to move around very quickly, and Rune of Greater Resurrection, but I wonder how that works if you don't have any units that are dead nearby, so... unless you can bait your opponent to try to fight you there, I can't see how that would be very useful at all. Oh, an Obsidian Statue destroyed in transit once more. 3-2 upgrades. Death Knight sitting at level 5 has over 500 mana maximum, as the units may be forced to use a Scroll of Town portal. Not that much mana on the Death Knight here, so Xiao is not going to be able to heal his units nearly as much, but there still is anti-magic shell. Taking a look at the upgrades, there are 3-1 upgrades on the Crypt Fiends. Now moving in here, attempting to take down the Altar of Darkness. A Scroll of Town portal was baited and used, as we are now at 61 over 70 food. Meanwhile, we are at 53 over 70, and we are harvesting from 2 gold mines. This gold mine not yet quite ready. Both sides playing it very, very safe. Death Knight sitting at level 5. Black Arrow getting shot off. Who will come out ahead? Frost Nova, Silence. Death Knight now taking a lot of damage, and will it go down? No. Potion of Lesser Invulnerability used in time. Death Coil now saving it. The Death Knight is down to 200 hit points. That has to be very, very careful about. That. Destroyer may go down. All units are trying to run away. Ghoul now getting destroyed. The Death Knight has to be very careful. It does have an anti-magic shell to absorb at least a Frost Nova, as there is a Destroyer in the air still. Abomination now down to 300 hit points. It could get focused down very, very quickly. A Death Coil not going to be able to come in as there's not enough mana just quite yet. Both sides still fighting it out. Scroll Town Portal is being used. No focus on the lower hit point units for some strange reason. As, was that a Death Pack used by a Death Knight on a 19 hit point unit? That doesn't make any sense. Alright, this game already longer than I thought it would be. Hope you guys enjoy it. Yeah, a nice 30-minute or 25-minute game so far, and it looks like it's not going to end anytime soon. We have expansions here, and that is something that rarely ever happens. Another Ziggurat being established. We are now sitting at 49 over 70. Perhaps Alone is going to try to get into that 80 food area, as the Skeletal Minion, the Dark Minion, will attempt to try and take out some Acolytes. That is going to be a problem, as the Dark Minion is pretty much free and can deal a fair amount of damage to that Acolyte now. Is it going to be enough 15 to 17 damage? The Acolyte doesn't have any armor. The Acolyte is just going to dance around the Haunted Gold Mine and then be able to once again come back in. Ooh. Death Knight sitting at level 5, level 4, level 4. Sitting at level 5, level 4, level 4. Pretty much even. It will come down to who has better items and who has the anti-magic shell. Right now we know that Xiao has the anti-magic shell advantage. 49 over 80 versus 55 over 70. So Xiao actually mining less gold and Alone perhaps trying to get a bank and then trying to burst into low upkeep and trying to cap out at 80 food. Crypt Fiends are upgraded 3-2. Abominations are not upgraded at all. Dark Minions making a run over here. There is no upgrade on this tower. What did he spend all of his money on is what I'm wondering at this stage, as we now have a battle in the center portion of the field. Low hit point, a little hit point Abomination now taken out. It looks like both sides going to try to survive and fight this. Low hit point Abomination attempting to run away. Is it going to get death coiled? No, it is not going to get saved, as you have a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. Very, very low hit point Death Knight now down to 450. Both sides still fighting. A nice Frost Nova on a Crypt Fiend. The Crypt Fiend now getting destroyed, as the Banshees make it focus down. A Lich getting destroyed, so Alone losing the Lich at level 4, and that is going to be a very, very hard hit, and that may be what Xiao needed to tip this, as the Xiao's Lich is now level 5. Death Knight sitting at level 5, not sure what the DH stands for. Normally it stands for Demon Hunter. Perhaps he was trying to do a Death Coil, unable to get it off in time to save the Lich, as both sides are now gonna both sides trying to figure out what's gonna happen here. Dark Ranger sitting at level 4, level 5, level 4 versus 5, 5, 4. Definitely in favor now of Xiao. Xiao getting a bit lucky in that engagement. Crypt Fiend caught in transit, as the Death Knight, if he gets Animate Dead, is gonna be a very, very nice ultimate. So far, the Death Knight here has still 500 mana. Sitting at level 5. Dark Ranger sitting at level 4. Both sides attempting to creep, and it may come down to trying to destroy the gold mine. So the gold mine, all of these acolytes may fall for Xiao, and if Xiao loses this gold mine, it might be a trading of gold mines, as there's only 3 acolytes off over here and 1 spirit tower. The units are now making their way into the base. The acolytes here are all gonna fall. They're trying to hide themselves, perhaps running along the backside. They can hide themselves here, but they won't last very long, as it is now turning into a push on the base. Lich trying to be resurrected at level 4. It looks like the Altar of Darkness will get destroyed. No acolytes there to repair at all, as a Scroll of Town Portal could be used. The acolytes will fall here, and the Death Knight may be able to re-engage. It looks as though the Altar of Darkness has been taken down. Alone gonna lose the Sacrificial Pit as well. Skeletal Minions trying to figure out where they can run to. But I think this is gonna be an anticlimactic end to a very long game, as perhaps the Skeletal Minion is gonna look to try and resurrect the Lich at the tavern. Is it going to be doing that? Does it need more gold? Yes, it needs more gold, and it has 4 acolytes here. I think it costs about 700 gold to try to resurrect the Lich at the tavern at level 5 or 4, whatever the level was. So that's going to be important. The Lich finally resurrected. Yeah, perhaps somewhere around the 600 gold range. Lich now coming back over. 1 Death Coil will save it. The Lich just shy of level 5, perhaps saving alone about 150 gold there. Most likely what you're going to see is skeletal minions popping up. No skeletal minions popping up. The Dark Ranger could have gotten the kill and gotten some skeletal minions perhaps, and then we could have had the Lich try to do the Dark Ritual and regenerate some mana. Both sides now not mining gold. Boneyard, it's a 43 food army versus a 53, and who is going to come out on top? Death Knight at 5, selling some items, picking up a potion of lesser invulnerability. A potion of mana is on that Death Knight as well. Plenty of healing for all of these units. We may see a round of anti-magic shell, and this will come down to the very final battle. A 10 food difference. A Shade is in that group, and we'll see who will come out on top. The Lich doesn't have that much. Yes, there is a statue, or 2 statues for one of the sides off over here, as the anti-magic shell will simply be too much to try to break through. I believe Xiao is going to have this game unless we see some very, very nice use of Destroyer play, trying to absorb and get a lot of damage in. And now here we go. Web now being cast. There is a quick silence. Death Coil, Lich now level 5. Will it be enough? Frost Nova alone going to lose his Abomination. There it goes. And I think things are just going so well for Xiao now. There's not much alone can do, even fighting in the base a bit too much. Abomination still regenerating hit points. Obsidian statues have plenty of mana on them. The Black Citadel will fall. There's a Frost Nova. Down goes another Crypt Fiend. And a very anticlimactic end to a long game. It really felt like Alone had it for quite a while, but then ended up losing it. There is the death of the Death Knight, and that should be GG. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it.